Hi. Happy Wednesday. We have some stuff here today to get to. I got to put my ticker on here though. I'm still learning how to do all that stuff. The ticker's there. It doesn't help anything. But happy lunch break. And if you're watching this at night, happy night. Today we have a special guest. Moving out of the Seven Kevins format for a while, we're bringing in a special guest today. The uptight interview. No, the in tight. It's in tight interview. Now, uptight's different. The in tight interview series. Like up close, but in tight. What's up, Daniel? He is the best Cowboys writer in all the land. You know him from The Athletic. You know him from the About Them Cowboys podcast that people have been talking a lot about lately. John Machota's here. John, just so you know, this is being streamed live on X as well. So you're on all the outlets. And, the audience is a little delayed. There they are. Well-oiled machine here. What's going on, man?
Not much. Thanks for that nice introduction.
When do you go to camp? Let's see. 20th?
The 22nd. So I think it's the day before they get out there, yeah.
Okay. How are you? Well, I'm not going to ask that question. It's not important. So man, I missed the Cowboy trip. The Cowboy trip to Oxnard is so great. And I think it would be less great if the temperature were in the 70s or 80s here, but it just comes at such a right time. 100 degrees. See ya. I like to do this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say everything about it is to me, I've covered the Cowboys since 2011. So if anybody hasn't been following, they haven't won a Super Bowl during that time. And so outside of them winning a Super Bowl, covering the Cowboys at training camps is the best part. The weather, no question. And then the other, it's the best access you get nowadays. There was a lot better access at Valley Ranch. You could talk to more people, catch more people walking around. Whereas at the Star, it's built as a fortress, and the media is not in a good spot in the fortress to grab people to randomly have conversations about behind the scenes things. So everything about training camp out in Oxnard is great. I love it.
The Star compared to Valley Ranch is a good. It's almost like a good metaphor for just like media in general. Like just media companies, it's like, okay, you're making things like look nicer and stuff, and using all this like technology and all this stuff. But man, it was really cool, and you could just walk back there and to a room, and now there's Kent Garrison behind a board. Oh, Jerry just walked by.
You know what else is kind of funny about it when I think about it? Because when I first went out there, I kind of thought it was kind of a dump. I mean, you come from Detroit and you're like, well, obviously the Cowboys are a 10 times more famous, make more money organization than the Lions. And you're just like, the Lions definitely had a nicer, they're in the same one. They're in this Allen Park facility, but it's was pretty new at that time. And then, so I come out here at the end of 2010 and I was going out to Valley Ranch. I'm like, I love the history that's here, but I mean, the Dallas Cowboys should have something nicer than this. So eventually that happened, but there is a lot of history that was there, and it just, I don't know. Like, I think of the Cowboys not winning a Super Bowl since the mid 90s, and I think of being a kid growing up in Detroit and just how legendary those Cowboys teams were in the early 90s, and to think that it's all gone. Like, the stadium they played at is gone, their headquarters are gone. I mean, the headquarters, you would never even be able to find it. I mean, they couldn't bulldoze that thing down fast enough and build brand new subdivisions with huge houses fast. I mean, it's crazy. There's nothing about it the street signs still, some of the streets are still named after Cowboys players and stuff. But other than that, man, it's completely gone. So it's like
weird.
There's nothing really left from like those glory days of the 90s.
It's very weird going over there. And they did a good job of like dressing up the front of the building and all that stuff, the long walkway. They did kind of look Cowboys glamorous, but then like Valley Ranch too just always sounded cool. I mean, I think of being a kid and let's go out to Valley Ranch where they're Sports Center's covering the Cowboy. It just sounds cooler. But whatever. The Star's nice too.
And especially not being from there, being from Michigan, like when you heard Valley Ranch, it was just like this. And the Cowboys were so good in the 90s. So when you're watching Sports Center and they're going to like a live report with like Ed Warder and they're coming from Valley Ranch sounds like Cowboys. It sounds like something where you're just like, ooh, what is this place? Like, I watched this documentary not too long ago about the Beach Boys, and they talked about how a lot of their music gained popularity from people that grew up up, on the East Coast or grew up in areas that were cold in the country, and you would hear that music and just be like, man, what kind of life is that? They're just surfing and hanging out with, beautiful girls all the time and stuff like that. You'd only hear it on the radio because you never went out there, So when I first went to Valley Ranch, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe like this is where, the 90s Cowboys were at and all that went down. They were just the team of the 90s and that. But then the more you go there, like you said, the more you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. So also, I wanted to talk about like grew up in Detroit, and then you went to
Wayne State.
Went to Wayne State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then did you know, that you wanted to be a journalist? Did you know at an early age? What was your, did you have any type of? When did you fall in love with the art of sports writing and all of that stuff? And then, I mean, dude, I say just it's more. Sports writing's hard. Journalism is a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. I think a lot of people don't think about the ethics of media too, and things like that. That's kind of important. And it's an art that you have to almost fall in love with and then really pursue. And it's not like there's a bunch of people who have your job,
Right. Yeah. I definitely didn't think I'd be a sports writer when I was growing up. I just love sports. I mean, I would rather be playing sports than writing about them. But since I can't do that, to me, this is the next best job. I'd never would want to coach. I wouldn't want to work in the scouting department. So this to me this is a dream job for me. Unless, believe me, I'm 6 foot, if I was 6'6" or 6'8", and I could be an NBA shooting guard, just come off the bench, knock down some threes here or there. That would be the life. I would prefer that. But
come off the bench, knock down some threes, get the Lakers head coaching job. Just
right.
Bam, bam.
Now that's the dream. I can't get that, so this is the next best thing. So no, to me, I always thought writers, that was just, I wasn't a good student. I really didn't care about school. I always thought that was like kind of, that's not, I won't be able to do that. That you got to get good grades and go to class, stuff like that. So when I graduated high school, I didn't think I would ever be a writer. And so I went to community college, and I went for law enforcement. I thought I was going to be a police officer. Yeah, because I really wanted to work a job where every day would be something different. I did not want to do the office 9 to 5, same thing every day, And I really was interested in being a police officer, and I did it's a 2-year degree, associate's degree from a community college. And when I was finishing up with that, right before I was going to go to the police academy, that's when I decided, I can always do the police academy. Let me I love sports. Let me see if I can do something with sports. So I'm a big on the whole. If anybody ever, feels like, oh, you need to have like your whole plan, figured out when you graduate high school and that, I'm not the guy for that at all. Like I would have made the worst decision. Like there's no, well, I wouldn't have, it was kind of easy for me because I wouldn't have got into like a really good school. I just didn't get good grades in high school. I didn't care. And so I needed to mature a little bit for a few years before I actually started spending money. And so that's when I went to Wayne State for journalism. And unfortunately, most of the law enforcement stuff didn't transfer over. So it was kind of like starting over. So it would be like going to college and then kind of going back at 24 and then kind of doing it all over. So so I didn't move down to Dallas until I was 28. So it wasn't like it was this high school, college, writing, like a lot of people I know in the business.
Okay, so how many siblings do you have?
I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay, so you're the middle child, and you didn't get good grades. That shocks me. Just knowing what I know about you, you're well prepared, you got all your facts right here. You didn't make good grades. What in your mind is bad grades?
Oh, C's get degrees. I mean, I'm not saying that. I could have been a good student if I applied myself, but I cared more about hanging out with friends, partying. And then the biggest thing was I was obsessed with basketball. Like, that's all I did. So, like, I have friends, from back when I was in high school that think it's funny that I'm covering the Cowboys and not, like, an NBA team or something like that because basketball was, my first love. And, but I love football, watching it. And I played a little bit in high school, but I wasn't good at it, so I kind of gravitated away from it. But I've always loved football and basketball the most, But I would never get good enough to like the type of degrees that would get you on the honor roll or anything like that. I did enough to pass classes, That's kind of where I was at. But that's because I really didn't care about what they were talking about. If all my classes were all about sports, then I would have got all A's, But how much? I mean, to be honest with you, even at Wayne State, I know a lot of people that went to bigger schools and they actually had like sports journalism classes. I never even had a sports journalism class. It was just journalism across the board. So I was writing a lot of, news type stories in college as opposed to, but always in the back of my mind going, well, I'm writing sports. I don't want to do news, so but again, like the key thing here, I had to mature a little bit. When I graduated high school, I wasn't mature enough to even have that goal of like being focused on going to school, getting a degree, and getting the job that I have now. I never would have, it never would have happened for me at that time.
Is that the middle child thing too, though? Did your your siblings make good grades?
Better than me, but yeah, probably.
The middle child thing stands. You're the one we keep an eye on.
I think I probably had the most fun though, so I'm not. I have everything I'm telling you. Absolutely, looking back at my life where I'm at right now, zero regrets about anything.
Hell yeah! You know what? Oh, cheers to that. The crowd likes that. No regrets, Peyton Manning. All right, before we continue forth, let's do a little brain teaser, right? I don't let anyone ever getting bored just talking about. I like to do brain teasers here. But I have such a competitive spirit.
Okay.
Yesterday or on Monday, Jeff and I went 9 for 9. Okay, we finished this thing. Now we didn't get the rarity score that we were looking for, but I think we can do this.
Oof.
I would say we shouldn't worry about being rare. Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
9 for 9. If Jeff and I got it, we should go for it all.
Yeah.
That's an easy one with Carson Palmer, right?
Yeah, I hate the teams on this already. This is a bad set of teams here.
I was happy that today was a day that wasn't the Lions or the Cowboys or the Packers.
But not only that, it just Tennessee and because here's the other thing. Like I'm a big sports card guy. I have been since I was like a little kid. Like I think of like just how many Tennessee Titans cards I'm just going through and tossing this aside. How many Arizona Cardinals cards that you're just you're like, what is this? I'm not doing anything with this. That's tough, man. I'm trying to think of a Cardinal.
Here's the trick. They want you to say DeAndre Hopkins, but you got to think here because they've got 5,000 receiving yards. And DeAndre Hopkins has that now.
Right.
You could use him there. I don't know if there's a Titan that has 5,000. Derek Mason, did he have 5,000?
Yeah, there's no way. They counting Houston Oilers here?
I don't think so. And I got to be honest, no one really jumps to my mind there either.
God, there's like a really obvious Cardinal Steelers, and I cannot think of who it is. Obviously, they played against each other in the Super Bowl, but there's like a really obvious one that I'm totally blanking on here. That
is it Mendenhall? Or did he play for the Cardinals? I don't know. He might not have. Cardinal, the Watt brothers, but that doesn't work. That is a good one.
Man, this is bothering me.
Yeah, this sucks. This sucks. We were doing this the other day, and we were like, it was shaky. Oh, Anquan Bolden? No, I don't.
No Steelers for Anquan. No.
Did he play for the Titans? No.
Nope. This is tough, man. I'm telling you. As soon as you showed me the teams, I didn't even see. I wasn't even looking at the 5,000 yard receiving thing, and as soon as I saw the teams, so there's just not a lot of crossover that jumps out to me here. Obviously, Carson Palmer for sure, but.
Did Michael Turner play for the Titans for a bit? Calvin Ridley. Now they're going to say no because he hasn't played a game for them yet, though.
That's pretty good work there.
But they're going to say no.
Jerks.
Let's just get this out of the way. Steelers, 5,000 receiving yards. Clearly, Yancey Thigpen is where we're going, right?
Oh, so you don't want to do an obvious one. That's why.
No, we should. Who's the most obvious one?
I would think Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't play for it. Well, he didn't play for the Cardinals.
No, but he doesn't have to. Wait, I thought that just has to be a Steeler.
No, we're good on that one. Steelers.
Yeah.
Bengals, we could do Carl Pickens and get out of the way here.
Yeah, and then the obvious,
AJ Green.
Yeah.
We'll do AJ Green. So, okay.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. Okay, AJ Green. That's good. Man, this is really bothering me, the Steeler.
Did Wycheck get over 5,000 receiving yards? No way. There's no way. I could think Kevin Dyson, no. Derek Mason, no.
Maybe Mason
Derek Mason might have.
Yeah, go with Derek Mason.
All right, we're going to do Derek Mason. If we lose, we're just blowing this thing up.
Yeah, that's fine.
We got it. We got it. So now it's DeAndre Hopkins. We can go ahead and take care of that.
Yeah.
Steelers Cardinals. Okay, got a little help from the chat room here. Chris
Okay.
Johnson, Titans Cardinals. From this, I think.
Oh,
So.
Chris Johnson, Titan Cardinals. Sure. I'm still stuck on the whole Cardinals Steelers. I just feel like there has to be this.
And the Falcons. Oh, that's tough. Falcons Bengals. There's got to be a Falcons Bengals.
Roddy, what? No.
Chris Chandler ever go play for the Bengals? Roddy White. Yeah, it's tough. I'm happy to give up too. We don't have to waste all of our time doing this.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, give up. Here are the most popular answers. James Conner. Duh.
That's not who I was thinking of at all, but okay.
I forgot Michael Vick played for the Steelers for a little bit.
Yeah, I would have never gotten that.
Got the key to the city in Dallas. Mohamed Sanu. Should have known that.
Yeah, that one I will say for sure. The Mohamed Sanu for sure. I was just thinking. I was not thinking of James Conner at all for there. I was thinking of somebody that like played back with like Roethlisberger and Larry Fitzgerald, and then I just can't think of it. But anyway, I would have never gotten Michael Vick with the Steelers.
Would you have got any of these if it were basketball?
Yeah, probably.
Well,
but I should. But I mean, I should still. I mean, this. I watch this as much football as I watch basketball.
This is tough, dude.
That was a tough one. Ooh. This is tough. Let's get out of this.
Yeah.
I got a couple off the top of my head, but I'm not gonna do all those.
So we are. So here we go. Kyle Jones right here. It's a great day to get CD and Dak signed long term.
Sure.
I'm going off of Zach Martin. I'm going off of Zeke going to Cabo. CeeDee Lamb going to camp?
No. I mean, not unless he gets a new deal. I mean, that is the type of thing that the Cowboys would like to get done right before camp starts, so there's a little bit of positive momentum going into camp, or maybe even in that first week of training camp. But if I'm just projecting off of where things stand right now, I would say that it's probably one of those more like the Zach Martin thing, where probably going to go a couple of weeks into camp and he's not there. But ultimately, he'll be there. He'll be there week one. I don't see CeeDee Lamb sitting out games. He's going to be the first one to get the contract out of that three, and I do think it'll get done sometime between now and early September. But just, I mean, if the Cowboys are going to sit there and drag their feet on Zach Martin, who wasn't like he was looking for, I need to be the highest paid right guard in NFL history. I'm not saying that CD wants to be I'm not saying CD believes he needs to be above Justin Jefferson, but he needs to be in that neighborhood,
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I mean, CD was 120, it was 135 catches last year. I mean, geez, whatever it was, ridiculous, and he'll do that again, and he will likely have better numbers than Justin Jefferson this year. If you look at the quarterback situation in Minnesota, I mean, I think it's gonna be really hard for Justin Jefferson to go get 120, 130 and compete with CeeDee Lamb in terms of catches. And
CeeDee's also in a good spot too, just because of the fact of there's all these moving pieces now on the offensive line. They haven't done anything to make you think that they're going to have a good running game. And so if you're CD, you can just sit there and go, all right, take me out of the equation. What are they doing on offense? I make the argument, you might disagree, that they could be one of the worst offenses in the NFL without CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you. Because Brandon Cooks and this is his career in general, from a game log standpoint, kind of runs hot and cold and always kind of has. Like, he'll have those big games and you're like, geez, he changed the thing today. And I don't know if that's maybe how some defenses play him and things like that. But he is a fine, too, if you want to go there.
And Jake Ferguson's fine, too. And they can get by. They can get by. And I'm not saying that, without CeeDee Lamb, they're winning 4 games or something. Like, they'll win ball games, but it's going to be a bad offense.
Well, the offense kind of runs through CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's why he is in such a great leverage position right now. Also, the fact that the Jefferson deal is done. It'd be one thing if we're sitting here right now and it's like Jefferson hasn't signed, or let's say Chase or somebody that's at the top of the market. Then there's still a little bit of guesswork. Like, there's no guesswork left. Like, the parameters are known where it needs to be. CD's done everything that he needs to do to hold up his end of the bargain. So doesn't seem like there's too much guesswork there.
Dak made some comments about his contract, and basically, you guys all follow John on X, by the way, at John Machota. Machota, right there on the screen. But if you're listening, Machota. And it's a standard. We've done this for many years with him. The standard comment. But would he really not sign if they offered him a deal that looked good in week 2 or 3? Like his team would go ahead and handle that. I know he said
Yeah.
we're going to focus on football on day 1, but if they came in end of September and like, you know what, we should get this done before Tua. Now, why it would take them that long to see that and all that stuff is a whole different story. But that is where we are when guys like Tua start coming up and they have a chance to go sign for as much as they'll get. We all know Dak should get done, but he wouldn't turn that down and late September.
He wouldn't. But the Cowboys just don't really do business like that. Like, who's the last notable player that signed a contract during the season with the Cowboys? So it's a Cowboys thing as well here that would make me think if it's not done before the start of week 1, then it's not getting done. But I already feel that way right now. Like I'm actually, the percentage goes down every day that goes by that he doesn't get a contract signed that he's going to play this out this final year. And now I think it's over 50% chance that he plays out this final year, and then they reassess in the offseason whether they allow him to get to free agency or they try and work out something with him or they just let him go if the season goes extremely poor. But if they were going to get a contract done, it would have been done already. I think both sides are pretty dug in on what they're looking for, and so I think both sides are to the point now where it's like, no, that's fine, I'll play it out. When Jerry or Steven, it comes down to Jerry. If Jerry wants to get it done, it'll get done.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want to get it done, he wants him to play it out. It comes down to Jerry. So it's not even really worth mentioning everyone else. You could have everybody else in the organization telling Jerry every single day, we got to get Dak signed. We got to get Dak signed. Can you just imagine every time he goes to the cafeteria, it's like Will McClay says it to him, or then Steven, or then there's Mike McCarthy, or somebody else. And still, if Jerry doesn't want to do it, then it doesn't get done. So. Yeah, I just think where we're at right now, it would have been done already if it was going to get done before the season. I just don't expect it to happen now.
So, okay, I'm just hypothesizing here. They play out this year, and it ends the way that a lot of these years end, with a disappointing loss in the playoffs. Okay? Then, what could happen in between middle of January and the first week of March when free agency starts that would make them want to go, yeah, let's go ahead and do it? Like, they're going to have to do this thing before the season starts. But they also have this is why it's more unique than usual, is because the coach and the defensive coordinator are on the 1-year deal and all of that. That's what adds a little element of intrigue.
Yeah. Well, also there's the fact of, and again, I'm just telling you things that could happen. I'm not saying any of these things are a good idea. Yeah. But if you're watching Hard Knocks and you see that clip that's been circulating on the internet with Saquon Barkley, who's to say that Jerry doesn't think that, oh, Dak, go see what's on the open market and come back to us? And Dak can go, yeah, I'll see what's on the open market, and I'm not coming back to you. So there is a part of Jerry that has to believe that in the end, as long as I'm in the ballpark, star player isn't leaving the Cowboys. It's not like you got to go dig back to like Dion or something like that. It literally happened with Amari Cooper. He was getting more money offered to him by Washington, and Amari came back to the Cowboys. I mean, I'm the same deal. Like, oh, you can't let him go to free agency. Well, they let him go to free agency, and he still came back with the Cowboys. So I don't know that Dak will necessarily do that. I think that there could be frustration on his part if he gets through the season, and let's say he has a similar regular season where he's up for MVP and all that, and they lose in the divisional round. I could see him being like, yeah, I could have played better. But you guys don't really think I'm the problem here, do you? I mean, it's really easy for him to think that, and be like, there's 6 or 7 other teams out there, and 4 of them might be really good teams. So it's not like I'm going from an okay team to like one of the worst teams in the league. No, I will be going to a team that might be just good as the Cowboys or better. So it's like, it is the part to me that I'll ask you this because I think it's a good hypothetical. Who would it bother more? Okay. Next season, Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl, we'll say with the Seahawks. Does that bother Jerry more?
Oh, man.
Or Dak goes to the Seahawks. I don't know what the Cowboys do at quarterback, but the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. Does that bother Dak more?
Oh, my God. I mean, that would kill Dak. I would kill them both.
Yeah.
Man, why's he got to be the Seahawks, too? The Seahawks may need a quarterback, too. If they get Geno'd out.
You can do Steelers if you want. I just find it hard to believe the whole, like, I find it hard. You know what?
49ers?
You know, it'd be the funniest one is
49ers?
if he took that. I just wonder. The thing about the Niners, though, I just wonder, do they even have the money for something like that? Maybe they do. But the one that I think about that would be so funny, not to Cowboys fans, but to you and I, maybe, is the Raiders.
Oh
Like,
my
can you
God!
just imagine
Yeah.
if he took the Raiders to the Super Bowl?
Well, that will be an open
Year
quarterback
one?
job. That would be an
Right.
open quarterback job for sure.
I just think people look at
Sorry,
that
Devontae
organization.
Adams?
There's just some similarities, Raiders and Cowboys. So it would just be.
Okay, people in the comments, throw in your questions now if you want to. I know it's a little late for me to ask that. Hello, Manny. What's up, dude? Manny's got a question for you, John. Who's better handicap, Jerry Biden or Trump?
Who has a better handicap?
That's a golf question for all those people
Trump.
out there, not me.
I got to go with Trump probably. The reason I say that is because
he plays a lot. He's
right.
Good. He says he's good.
Yeah, and then the fact of we haven't done it in the last 3 or 4 years, but there used to be this like Cowboys golf outing at the Cowboys golf course, and I probably went to that thing at least 5 or 6 times, and I never once saw Jerry even swing a club. Like Jerry is not into. Here, I'll give you 2 things about Jerry that he's not into that you would think like really wealthy people would be into. Okay, 1, golf, and 2 is really going on that boat.
Yeah.
Like people think that like because he has that boat that like and it's this massive yacht that's as big as a football field or whatever, like that's not really Jerry's thing, man. And to be honest with you, hey, you know what's another one? Even that helicopter is really not Jerry's thing.
I could see him. He stays grounded and goes to work every day.
Yeah.
Right? That's his bit. I think it's always been that bit. Hold on, let's find out since you brought it up. No, you go ahead, keep talking.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll ask you this. Like, so if you had as much money as Jerry Jones, wouldn't you take at least once? I'm not saying do it all the time, but like maybe take a trip on that thing, like I don't know, I'm not gonna say all across the world, but let's say from here or from wherever someplace in the US. I know he's been up by like Seattle and up on the West Coast up that way, but wouldn't you take that on a ride one time where like you take it all the way from the US over to let's say like Italy or whatever where it probably is now or it has been recently? Because I don't think he does that. I literally think like the boat's taken to these places, he flies to those places and then gets on the boat.
Yeah, I think so too. And
so what would you do that? Would you just fly or would you at least want to see what it's like?
As a guy who's never been on a luxury yacht,
yeah.
I would say I wouldn't because I don't love the ocean. I mean, dude, when I went to Italy in April, flying over the Atlantic creeped me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like that. There's no. I always like to have a backup plan, for something like that. I have heard though that the Alaskan cruise very nice. There are people who love cruises. Some people aren't water people.
It is funny you say it because I haven't done a ton of like really long travel. Like, how long was your flight to Italy?
8 hours.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. So yeah, it was pretty similar. I did the last Cowboys preseason game in Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
So I did a straight flight from Hawaii back to Dallas, and there were multiple times I got a window seat that I was like, man, there's a lot of water out here.
Yeah, no, you're like, this is what happens here.
Yeah.
Lord, no, it's rough. Dennis has a question. Here we go. Do you think a running back trade is likely before week 1 if none of these guys impress in camp early preseason?
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance that happening. I still maintain, even if it isn't a trade for like somebody really big, maybe they sign somebody that's cut from another team. I just don't think that they're set at running back for this season. If Rico Dowdle could stay healthy, I do see an upside there, but he just hasn't really shown for a long period of time that. So I do see where they're coming from, where they would probably want to see what he can do in the preseason, and then you pair him with Zeke, and that I just think with that new offensive line, or at least the offensive line changes, that there could be some issues there, and that maybe that forces them to go somewhere else at running back. But see, that's the thing. Like to me, running back and D tackle are clearly their 2 weakest positions.
Yeah.
But at least at running back, you can add somebody, and it won't be that expensive. You can go out there, whether to be sign someone that's cut from another team or trade. You're not going to have to give up a premium pick. But to get like an even okay defensive tackle, you're going to have to give something up. You're going to have to give up like a 4th, 5th round pick to get something at least just I'm not even talking about a good starter. I'm just saying like somebody that's solid. So I'm concerned about defensive tackle a lot more than running back.
Kent Garrison is asking questions that are just so inappropriate.
All right, throw out one. Let's do it. Oof.
Tough one, man.
That is a tough one.
Is that for the Dallas Morning News or the other, outlets?
Yeah.
The news departments to cover?
Yeah. I mean, generally, what happens usually, like, on stuff like that is, yeah, I mean, you'll have, like, your news reporter that'll probably cover that side of it, and then if there's any other stuff they want added, Cowboys, like, one of the Cowboys writers will help on the story, and so you usually see a double byline on stuff like that. That is by far my weakness.
Legal or
yeah, because I just to be completely just to be completely honest with you, when I got offered the job from the Athletic when I was at the Morning News, my only concern that I had was that it was a year after all that Zeke stuff, and I was worried about because at the Morning News, I was on a great team. I mean, David Moore's great with that stuff, Brandon George, Kate Haropoulos. So I didn't have to do very much of that at all. Like Kate Haropoulos did a lot of the stuff at the courtroom and things like that, and she handled a ton of that. And so it's funny. Kate actually took a job. She's an editor at the Athletic, and she's one of the people I talked to before I went to Athletic, and that's exactly what our conversation was about. Is I'm like, Kate, I really want to do it. I really like the Athletic. They made me a great offer. I like the idea of instead of being on a 4-man team, like I would get to do whatever I want, write whatever I want. I go, but I am nervous about the Zeke thing, and I didn't mean Zeke in particular. I meant just that the Dallas Cowboys, like here, we'll take the Cowboys out of it. I'll give you a great example. Not to say like, I mean, obviously this offseason Dak has had his own court side of things, but like I look at what's the Cowboys offseason? That offseason that the Chiefs have been having.
Good Lord. Yeah.
That's your typical Cowboys up. So it was just funny because talking to her about it, she's like, no, there'll be people that can help and stuff like that. I was like, I'm just worried that I'm pulled away all the time from covering the team because I'm constantly going to some trial for like some player on the team. Yeah. And I'll do that and I can do it, but it's going to take me, like, let's say, okay, like on the Zeke thing, like on covering some of that. I could have written a lot more of those stories, but it's going to take me twice as long as it would take David Moore or Kate or Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not. It's just, and then the other thing is you don't want to word things the wrong way because there's just a lot more to that. So, like for example, like at the Athletic, even writing about any of the Dak stuff recently, it's not like I just write it and post it myself. Like it goes by several layers of editors before it's put out there because you don't want to write something that's incorrect. I mean. You can be sued for that, So it's just a lot easier when you if you're writing about a game and you say that a guy had 150 yards receiving and it was really 175. It's a lot easier to correct that than maybe having something wrong in the legal realm. And so it also makes me nervous with that. But that's also a little bit of just I was working at a newspaper where there was 4 people all covering the Cowboys, and it was like, well, I'm going to go on my own. But it's been a great decision. I enjoy it. I will work at the Athletic for as long as they will have me. I will cover the Cowboys for as long as I can do that. So
wearing my Athletic hat.
There you go.
Love the Athletic too. Gary Garfield here. He gets sued all the time. He said it's not that big of a deal. Gary from Snakes Plus.
All right, Gary, I appreciate that. I'm gonna reach out to you if I need your legal advice.
Also, if you want to own a snake, he'll be your guy. That's Gary from Snakes Plus. And the Superstore out there in Watauga. John, I'll let you go. I told you I'd get you out of here by 12:30. It's 12:34, meaning I'm a liar. We always end
anytime, man. This is fun.
Well, we don't always end it. Okay, lightning round.
Okay.
Do you think do you guys really think Dak will have success with another team with less weapons than he has now with the Cowboys?
You know what's funny about that? So going to his camp yesterday, I was talking to another reporter about this. Name all the games the Cowboys have won against good teams. That's the key part here. Good teams. When Dak, and honestly, even Romo played bad. Name all of them. I'd love to hear this.
I think he played pretty good in that Lions game they won last year, right? December 30th. I don't remember though.
I mean, he was solid. He didn't win the game. Like, it wasn't because of him that they won, but it wasn't like he had a bad game and they won despite him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like there are other teams that he could potentially go to where maybe that happens. It really hasn't happened with the Cowboys. But yeah, of course, I don't think that. I don't see Dak going to, let's say, like, I think the Giants could be in the market for a quarterback. I don't see him going to the Giants and having more success. But if you tell me he goes to the Steelers or the Seahawks, yeah,
even the Raiders, I can see it. I could be talked into the Raiders now. I'm glad you threw that out. Denver?
Yeah, that's a possibility too. I'll just say that
I don't know.
There's a little something that you got to factor in there, that there is a lot of pressure that comes with being the Cowboys quarterback, particularly in January, particularly every year that goes by that they don't make a deep playoff run. And some of that gets taken away if you go to some of these other franchises where, let's be honest, it's just all about football there, and there are far less distractions, and maybe that's good for him, you know. But I'm one of the people that, like, I still think that Dak can win a Super Bowl. I've noticed, like, this offseason, there's more people, it seems like, at least I interact with on social media, that think that, like, well, we know that he can't do it. It's time to move on. I'm not there. I wouldn't say that at all.
Kent says Bills 5 picks in 1, the Romo game.
But okay,
but that's Kent's point pretty good.
Okay, I don't remember specifically. Was that a good Bills team? Who was their quarterback?
Oh no, that was probably
that's a key part of it, is a good team.
Who was the quarterback of that game for the Bills?
I mean, if you want to use Bills as an example, like, what did Josh Allen really do when the Bills beat the Cowboys this year? He even said in his post game that he felt like it was that high school project where, yeah, his name's on the assignment, but he didn't even do it. He said that in the post game. And I think of that because I'm like, how many times is that because I mean, when you cover the team, you're almost always going to go to Dak's press conference because he's the last person. It's very much like how Dirk was with the Mavs. It was like Dirk's going last. He's the very last person after the locker room closes, the coach. So I've been to almost all of Dak's post game press conferences. I can't think of many big wins that they've had, if any, where I was just like, he didn't do anything to help them at all. And I'm sure that there is one or two out there, but there isn't very many. It's usually like if they beat a good team, he has to play really well. And I believe to make a deep playoff run, there's going to be one game in there where the rest of the team might have to carry you a little bit. You know, like, you're not going to be the guy every one of those games, you know?
This that game, the Bills were 0-4 going. No, I'm sorry, they were 1-3 going into it, and the quarterback was Trent Edwards.
Okay, Trent Edwards, Stanford's finest. Yes. Okay.
What was your music era of just, you know, if you're like, this is my time when I was listening to the most music, or what kind of music is it? I'm guessing with you, it is early 90s hip hop or late 90s hip hop.
It'd be late 90s hip hop for sure. But it's funny you say it because I'm like all over the map. Like, if you were to ask me, like, I love when, you know, athletes, whatever, famous people get asked, like, you know, favorite albums and that. Like, to me, probably my 2 favorite albums of all time, like, when I think of it, I'm not saying that it's the best of the best, but these are albums I can listen to all the way through and I still love them, is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Hell yeah.
And DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And it's like, you couldn't be any more, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just, so, I mean, I'm not big into country. There's some country that's okay. I would say that would be the one that I'm least interested in. But any rock or rap, I'm pretty much in for.
We're gonna end it with something I do sometimes, or a lot of times. The commenters help. We kind of do this as a group project, so no one's on the spot here. We're going to the Daily Bandle here. You want to get it in one, all right? This is going to be from 2010, John.
Okay.
It says it's an easy difficulty, so here we go. Pretty repetitive.
I have no idea. Do you?
Yeah.
Let's do another one. Do another one.
I'm going to guess something. I'm going to guess Katy Perry Firework. It's not that.
Oh, hold on. I think it's Rihanna.
Okay, Rihanna. I was spelling it wrong. Shut Up and Drive. No. We Found Love. No. Say only girl in the world.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
We'll guess it. Nope. Okay. And some synth. Tonight, when I know, Usher.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty good.
DJ got us fall in love. Boom.
Wow,
Yes, I
that's
remember
impressive.
that
You've never had that one before?
No.
Man,
But I remembered it from the halftime show. So it was
yeah.
but once that sent something triggered me, and I was like, okay, there it is. Yeah.
I really didn't think that was 2010 though. I felt like that song was like
I did too.
2002 or 5, somewhere in that era.
I went from 07 to like maybe like legit like 2018 with just like not even being aware of anything that happened in the pop music space.
Yeah.
I mean enough to just like
That's the first time I've ever seen that, and that makes me think that that's how people do songs now.
Yeah, kind of one at a time. No. It's fun
like,
to play this.
Like game. I think you were Phineas there for a second, and you just came up with a Billie Eilish song.
It hit me. I was like, all right, there it is.
That was good, man. That's impressive.
Now I really like pop music. I mean,
Yeah.
I still like all the stuff I listen to, all the cool stuff, right? No. But like,
will you put on like a pop radio station in the car?
Yeah, I'll scan through. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do too.
Pull it over to Kiss for a little bit. I mean, I also hear a lot of it at the station, so it's always blaring. Like this Sabrina Carpenter girl. There's a big. I don't know. You might enjoy this bit of journalism that I saw, but it was it's speculation, conspiracy theory, whatever, that Spotify is forcing Sabrina Carpenter on everyone because people are playing different playlists. And you know how Spotify will just take you to the next song. Like it'll just like in the queue. If you don't have something there, it'll just take you to something random.
Yeah, but don't you think that's kind of pop music anyway, though?
Yeah, no, I absolutely think that. But they're like, did Spotify do a deal with her record label to push her out there a little more than usual? But she's fascinating because she is dating Barry Cohegan, the actor.
Okay.
Who's in many movies. And you know what? Her top 3 songs, Feather, Espresso, and Please, Please, Please. If you just went and listened to them, I think you'd go, that's pretty good. Oh, and Kent's right here. Chappelle or Chapel. I don't know. I'm having trouble figuring out what we're calling her. Chapel Roan is great.
Okay.
So also someone who is being like, Spotify's forcing her. I'm like, well, she might just be good. That's all I have.
Okay.
John, we'll see you soon. You take off on the 22nd, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right.
5 weeks. We'll be out there for 5 weeks. I'm really excited about this.
There are no official thing. I wish I was telling everyone, catch us on the About Them Cowboys podcast. We'll see. I don't know.
Oh, we'll have something for you.
We'll have something. Figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll
do it live.
We'll do it live. All right. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for John. Okay, I don't know. All right, John. Thank you for your time, dude.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Follow John at John Machota, ladies and gentlemen. Go get him. There he goes from The Athletic. I took him off the stage. Good man. Good friend for many years. Read his stuff on The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter, all that stuff. Look at the time. Time to go. I can subscribe. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, my dude. Brandon, I'm sorry we just missed all the Copa talk. Just missed it. I'm ready for the Olympics, though. And I'm ready for World Cup 2026. So we'll kick it around. Don't think we won't. Gonna go do a show 3 to 6 on the radio today. Gonna go do that. So yeah, that's gonna happen. And the rest of the week and all that good stuff. Thank you, Manny. 3 to 6, 97.1 The Eagle. Of course. Thank you. And I will talk to you all the next time I see you. Tomorrow, hectic day for me. So I don't know if we're gonna have the lunch break fun Got a Friday too. I might be in my car. We'll see what's going to happen here. I'm going to look up this story that man is sending me right now because that sounds interesting. I love rap beefs and stuff like that. So we'll get all that. Thank you all for rocking on, and I will see you next time. Like, follow, subscribe, all the stuff, and love you all. Jesus, love you all. Thank you. Bye. Bye.